It's time for a Q&A. Hey up doggos, welcome back to Damn Dog Games, and today I basically just went on social media, asked for questions, and now I'm gonna answer them. It's really that simple. You all know I don't sugarcoat things. I tell things how they are. This couch actually looks really nice, but it's so uncomfortable. It's been a while since I've done a Q&A, and I've missed reading your questions and answering them for you, and you've missed it, and I know that. So we're gonna have some fun today and answer your questions. I've probably said that twice already, but let's just jump right into it. Skyline Corgi asks, what's something you'd love to see more of in the fandom? Honestly, the thing that I'd like to see most of all is just people being nice to each other. It seems to be a trait that is going downhill, and we don't really see much of anymore. Because today it's just all about get clout, be nasty to someone, call them out on Twitter, send my followers after them. That's basically how a lot of Twitter works. Look how woke I am, I called you out. I would just like to see people getting along and actually being nice to each other. That's the thing I would like to see more of. Conrad Fox asks, what's your biggest fear? Just curious. Really, I have two big fears. One physical and one mentally. The fear that really freaks me out and makes me scared is jellyfish. I know it's a weird thing to be afraid of, but honestly, jellyfish freak me the fuck out. I was swimming in the Gulf of Mexico about 10 years ago, and I saw this jellyfish about 3 feet away from us, and all the tentacles were flared out and stuff like that. And it was floating in the water, and for some reason that freaked me out. It scared me. A fear that probably scares me even more than that is, well, losing my kids. Losing Luna and Pup Pup. That's honestly the thing that frightens me. Properly scares me, as the thought of losing my baby girl and my baby boy. They are my kids. I love them too much. Lux the Ice Fox asks, when are you coming to Florida so I can take you to Disney World? I will be coming to Florida next year for Megaplex. Me and the boys are going to be getting together, hiring out a little villa, having a holiday there for 2 weeks, and we will be at Megaplex. So, I shall see you doggos in Florida. Can I just ask, right, okay, why does a lot of America hate Florida? I love Florida. Sea Noodles ask, what is your absolute favorite holiday or festival of the year and why? To be honest, I haven't really gone to that many festivals. The thing that I really enjoy the most though out of the year is just going on holiday with friends to, well, like we did in Menorca, getting a big group of friends and just going someplace. The Menorca holiday I really enjoyed, but it's just a shame none of you guys really watched those vlogs. If you are actually interested in watching those vlogs, then just go and look at the Menorca trip. That I had a ton of fun doing. Hunter Blueman asks, if you had to choose between having a permanent left paw or right paw as your new hand, which would you go for? Am I right? It's simple. I'm not left-handed whatsoever. However, I use my left hand for majority of stuff that's useful. Like playing guitar. I strum with my right hand, but I use my left hand for hitting all the notes. That's way more useful. Same with PC gaming. I use my right hand for the mouse, and the more important stuff with my left hand is the other keys. But jacking off is going to be a lot harder, I see that now. Thebo Meerkat asks, could you name 3 people who inspire you the most and why? That's a difficult one. The absolute biggest inspiration though, of all time, has to be Fred Rogers. Do you don't know who Fred Rogers is? Fred Rogers was a man who hosted a children's show called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And I used to have the tapes of him when I was a little kid. But the man was just, no matter what he did, he was a man of pure kindness. He really cared about his audience, and he really cared about children and how they were brought up, educating them. Apparently Fred Rogers was such a nice person that he was a nightmare to interview, because it didn't matter what the interviewer did, Fred Rogers wanted to know more about the interviewer. So the interviewer couldn't really ask a question because it would be bounced back by another question. He was just that nice. And in the same category as Mr. Rogers, you could also put Adler the Eagle, because he's genuinely lovely. Second, obviously, would be Minilad. Minilad is such a nice dude, and he does so much for charity, with an incredible amount. And I don't think he gets nearly enough credit for it. I know if he saw this, he would definitely be saying, look, I don't care about getting credit, I just want to help people. And that's what's beautiful about it. My third pick would be a man called Paul Alexander. You're probably asking, who's that? And it's a very good question. Paul Alexander is a polio survivor. Polio was a horrific disease, and it killed a lot of people. Like, polio was able to make you paralyzed, and that's what happened to Paul Alexander. He got polio, he was paralyzed from the neck down, and he's not even able to breathe properly. So he has to rely on a relic from the past, which is called an iron lung. And if you don't know anything about this, I've left a link below to a video that is just pure heartbreak, but it's inspiring at the same time. And despite all of this, he was able to graduate from law school. He's achieved so much in life, despite having this horrible, horrible disease. And it's also another reminder as to get your fucking children vaccinated. Illusion Kit asks, how did you get to be so gay? Honestly, I have no idea what you're talking about. I honestly, personally don't know what makes me gay whatsoever. I don't know. If anything, me being gay is technically a myth. I don't know what makes me gay. You know, it's just, you know, that's who I am. No influence whatsoever. Like, there's no, you know, big manly guy, you know, that I got the hots for or anything like that. No, I'm just me. Nothing makes me gay. Taka the Foxer asks, when is that Mini Lad collab coming? Honestly, I don't know. Mini's a really, really busy guy at the moment. He's on tour currently, and he's only been home like 5 times in the last month. But if you want the collab between me and him, you'll have to ask him. Not me. Mini, what's the tea, sis? We're all waiting over here. Waffles or pancakes? Well, that depends what you have with them. If it's just on their own, no sauce, no fruit, no bacon, or anything like that, it would be waffles. Waffles go great with ice cream, but see, there's this thing up in Manchester called Moose Coffee Cafe, and they do think that thing called the Double Dutch, where they just stuff pancakes with sausage and bacon. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's, for me, really, it's a coin toss. A coin toss between the two, but it depends on what they have as extras. Syrup, bacon, pancakes, ice cream. Oh, it's difficult. Jesse asks, what's on your bucket list? There's a few things on my bucket list. One of which would be to get a car set up to go drifting, actually go drifting. I love cars, you can probably tell. But I think the biggest thing on my bucket list would be to save a life. Someone that's in danger or in need of help. I'd like to help. I want to be able to save a life someday, even if it means risking losing my own. Wusty Fox asks, if I asked you if my suit was cute, would you say yes or no? Well, that, sir, is an adorable suit. If I saw that at a con, I would actually like to give that a hug. And a butt fuck. Conrad the Wolf asks, are you a grower or a shower? Sorry, not sorry. I'm a grower, not a shower. It's nothing to boast about. When the blood isn't flowing, I'm just the uncooked prawn flapping about. But when I've grown and the blood is pumping, you can call me the mighty meaty. Carl asks, what's your all-time favorite race car? Mine's the Ferrari 512M. A good choice, sir, but still, it is not the best. My favorite all-time race car is, it's either gotta be the McLaren MP44, which is the McLaren that Ayrton Senna raced in, or the Lotus 49, which is the race car that Jim Clark raced in. Who, by the way, it doesn't matter who you say, Jim Clark is the greatest race driver of all time. Period. Blader the Mexican Wolf asks, would you ever come to BLFC? Now, believe it or not, I was actually wanting to come to BLFC this coming year, and I was ready to make plans for it, but one thing did pop up. If I went to BLFC, it means I wouldn't be able to go to Confuzzle, which is the home con for the UK boys. But reason why I'm not coming to BLFC this coming year is because, well, Adler and Blazin are coming over to CF. I cannot miss that for the world. They're really good friends of mine, and I don't get to see them very often. So you're gonna have to wait a little bit before I come to BLFC. Takara Blackheart asks, what is one experience, event that you feel changed your life forever, for better or worse? I haven't really had that many, experiences that are life-changing. I mean, most of the ones that are life-changing have been for the worse. Like when I was 10, my mother abandoned me. Or when I was 19, I moved out. That was a hard week. That was a hard week. But I think, the biggest thing that ever happened in my life was when I was about 12. I was still visiting my brother, every weekend. And one weekend, we decided to go camping with my mother. Now, my mother, being a fucking slag and a skank, invited one of her several boyfriends down for one of the days that we were there. And it made me feel really sad. What hurt me more was the fact that I knew it pissed my brother off even more because it upset me even more. Me and my brother got more upset because we knew how much it hurt both of us. So that one day that one of the boyfriends came down, probably just so they could go fuck in the tent, me and my brother just got in the car and drove for the entire day. We went all over the place. It was a bitterly cold day. Raining, it was grey, it was dark. We were sad for the whole day. And it really hurt us. It really got us right here. We literally just drove through the countryside on this horrible day, ironically listening to My Chemical Romance. But it was in that moment, like, it didn't matter how bad things had gotten and how upset and how sad we were and of just how much pain we were going through. I knew that I could always rely on my brother to be there for me, and he stuck by me. He never left my side, and it's something that I will never ever forget. That one horrible day where we just knew that all we had at that moment was each other. And it's the same story for my dad as well, because my dad would literally do anything for anybody. But like me and my brother are proper brothers. So I think that's why that is one of the most life-changing events for the good for me, because I just knew that nothing would ever come between me and my brother. Admittedly, he is the better brother out of the two. I'm an asshole compared to my brother. How do you feel if you make collabs with other furry YouTubers? But to be honest, it's actually quite difficult these days, because a lot of my YouTube friends are over in America, or they're really far away, and we have to rely on internet to collab, so we can't like be there in person, and that's kind of difficult. Other than that, even if we were like all in the same town, everyone's schedules have got to line up. Like Adler and Keith Fox, it's like booking a table at a posh restaurant. They're so busy. I love those guys, and we love making stuff together. It's just everyone's so busy. But when we do come together and actually make something great, it's always beautiful. There's one project that I don't want to say too much about, but I'm trying to collaborate with Hayu Martin at the moment. But the project is so tricky and complex that it's going to take such a long time for us to pull this off. Tataxi the Yin asks, can you say hi to everybody here in Mexico? I most certainly can. Hola dogos. Mi nombre es Core Coyote. Es bueno saber que hay dogos en Mexico. I think I butchered that, but that's as good as I can remember. Shiny Odd asks, will you ever do a collab with that Damn Dog Games guy? You look and sound so similar. He's talking about me, you fat wanker. But how are you there when you're there? Well, regardless, you've ran this channel to the fucking ground. He's right. When I was fronting this channel, it was just all about the games and everyone loved it. And then you came along and you've pretty much ruined all of that. Well, I'm sorry that you're jealous that I'm not jealous that you retired, but hey, look at it this way. I have a really nice varsity jacket. Piss off, you fuck.